Use it. I call Chris Farfoy.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair. Just a quickish call on part 2 of the Family Court Proceedings Reform Bill, and I just wanted to start off where the Honourable Phil Goff finished, and that is clause 35, which extends the meaning of domestic violence. And I'm just taking the opportunity to pose a question to the Minister and the Chair. For the benefit of those watching, this bill changes the meaning of domestic violence to include financial or economic abuse, and says, for example, denying or limiting access to financial resources, or preventing or restricting employment opportunities or access to education. Now, I'm pretty sure a number of us in this House may have had constituents come to their offices, and I think this kind of thing is happening more and more, where I guess more in the case of denying or limiting access to financial resources, we're seeing much more of that. I think it's more common in my experience with women, where their former partners are not giving them access to the money that they had together, or any other kind of property that they have, and they find themselves in a situation where they're trying to get access to that. Now, while we on this side of the House think that is genuinely a good thing to be able to include that meaning of domestic violence within this bill, when you couple that together with other things that happen in this bill, Mr Chair, we do have some serious concerns about the ability for those people to get access to some of those financial resources. I've had someone into my office who, if she were to be put in the situation which she's in when she's trying to get herself access to money that was in a relationship that she was had, and she would have to self-represent herself, which is one of the options available to her within this bill, she would be at a considerable disadvantage in this situation. So a question that I'd like to put to the Minister and the Chair is, how can we help people like that out there who are trying to get their hands on money, who don't have that money to be able to fight to get that money, and who are going to be forced to self-represent themselves and may not have the knowledge of the systems within the court proceedings to be able to do a decent job of that, or a job that might be able to get them access to what they think they are rightfully owed. We do have concerns around the resourcing, as Andrew Little said, and the cost-cutting that is going on in this situation, because in another area where there is the ability to self-represent in the aspect of care of children, there looks to be a saving of about $41.3 million over 3 years, according to the numbers here in the regulatory impact statement that I have before me. Now, if the government wants to set out to save money in this area around self-representation, I think it's a fair enough question to ask the Minister and the Chair if we're going to expand the definition of what family violence is, and that includes financial abuse, and denying financial resources, and we're going to find, I think, predominantly women in the situation of trying to get their hands on that financial resource. They're going to come from a very low financial base. They're trying to get hold of the money. How are they going to effectively self-represent themselves to be able to get their hands on these resources, of which the definition in clause 35 expands the meaning of domestic violence. So if the Minister sees fit, because I know there are certainly some people that I have met who would be in the situation, if she might be able to respond to that question, I would appreciate it.
Dr. Rajin Prasad.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. Just a brief call on this part, just to add a little bit more to what my colleagues have just spoken about. And certainly I'm particularly pleased to see Section 35 and the financial or economic abuse being added to the definition of psychological violence, because indeed, as we go around in our constituencies and in our own communities, you see this hidden aspect